Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and today I'm going to give you guys a very aggressive plan to actually become wealthy or rich very quickly. And by the way, there is no overnight success, no overnight wealth. It took Gary Vee over 13 years, Warren Buffett decades, and also Kevin Hart a few decades also to become successful as he is today. So overall, what I'm going to give you guys is basically an aggressive plan to get to your goal a lot faster, but it's not going to be overnight. But I'm not also going to tell you, hey, ignore your family, don't get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, don't go out whatsoever. I'm not going to tell you that. I think that's pretty stupid. But what I do think is actually a smart idea is to have a plan and to kind of optimize it to get there a lot faster than anyone would. And by the way, it takes the average person around 45 years to actually retire, but I want you to do that in around 33% of that time, or for example, even less, or half if you actually want to just relax while you're on your way to your freedom goal or whatever it is. Okay, now the first thing is this, guys. If you guys are new here, I post videos every single day, so you should also subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. And on top of that, also destroy the like button. Now the first thing I want to do, guys, is basically define what rich actually means to me, what wealthy actually means to me. And the answer is, I see riches and wealth basically saying, for example, I have enough money coming in passively to the point where I don't need to work if I don't want to, can cover all my expenses, and on top of that, even invest and save if I also want to. So basically, you have more money coming in than you have going out. Now, of course, if you are, for example, very conservative, very frugal, in reality, you don't need that much money. But if you are, for example, a little bit materialistic and you want, for example, a Lambo or a massive house or a Tesla, whatever you want, then obviously your goal is going to be a little bit more complicated and it's going to be a lot more hard work to actually get to also. But in this video, I'll show you how to achieve it no matter what your goal actually is. Now, the first step, guys, is basically we have to define exactly what success looks like in your picture, okay? Everyone is going to be different, but I want you guys to know exactly what your goals actually are and then how you actually go out there and achieve them. So in reality, the first thing is grab a book, a paper, or for example, your notes in your iPhone, or for example, even your Samsung. Yes, I have an Android and also an iPhone or iOS, whatever you want to call it. And the answer is just start writing down things that I'm actually telling you here, okay? The first thing is you want to define your goal from necessities to also wants that are kind of like materialistic things that you kind of don't need, but you actually want to actually have. Everyone has those, no problem with those. Just make sure you actually understand how much you're actually going to cost. In this case, okay, for me, I would write down basically, well, I actually want to own a house with a decent lot that's not going to cost me more than $300,000. By the way, I live in New York today. Obviously, I'm going to move down to Florida most likely to actually get this home because in New York, the lowest price is maybe between 400 to 500K or maybe 600K, and it's not even going to have a backyard, okay? And I don't even want that. Now, the second thing I basically want is to have 3 kids. So how much money is that actually going to cost me? I'll tell you later in the video. On top of that, I want to have the freedom to travel twice a year, 2 months for the summertime and 1 month for the Christmas time, okay? Very important to me. And I also want to have a house here in like America, but also a house in DR where I'm actually from. That way, I'm not spending money on hotels and stuff like that because basically my family is over there. So it makes sense to me also have a house over there. Now, those are my needs, things that I actually need to have in order to have my rich lifestyle. Now, here is the second part of the list, things that I basically want, but I don't really need whatsoever. And the first thing is, I thought initially I really wanted this Lamborghini Urus, but in reality, it's way too much money, like around like $200,000. I don't really want it that bad. So in reality, I'm thinking about getting a Tesla. This is for my goal, okay? Not currently. I'm not doing this now. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense. But the answer is I want to get a Tesla because basically I like tech and I like the idea of having somebody, well, the car, drive itself and take me to places because basically sometimes I can be extremely lazy, especially when it comes to driving. I don't like the idea of driving. Now, on top of that, I want to have a budget to actually spend money on my hobby. For example, building computers and buying expensive things that I basically don't need, okay? And those are all the things I basically want when it comes to necessities and also needs. And by the way, your list might be a lot bigger than mine, and also probably maybe even more expensive than my list. But in reality, it's your list. It's important you know what you want and you actually get what you want. But understand, okay, this list can change. And the more you understand exactly how much it's going to cost, most likely is going to change. You don't need to have a mansion. You don't need to have, for example, $100,000 car. You don't need any of that stuff, okay? So just make sure your list is honest to you. No one is going to see it, only you are. So be 100% honest with the things you actually want in life. Now, step 2, guys, okay? How much money is all this stuff going to cost you every single year to maintain this lifestyle that you actually want to have in the future, okay? Now, this list again is going to be different for every single one of you that actually do participate and actually do this list, okay? But here is my list here, for example, okay? Let's say, for example, I went ahead and I bought that house for around $300,000. And the mortgage is going to be for around 30 years. I put down 20%. So in this case, I'm looking at around a mortgage of around $1,368. By the way, Tommy, you're a genius. The answer is no, I'm not a genius. I just went on Google and typed in mortgage estimator and put in the price of the house, and it told me everything I needed to know. On top of that, I also need around 1% for maintenance, so that's around an extra $3K every single year. So in total, just for housing, I'm looking around $19,416. Okay, write this down for whatever your goal is and whatever your budget is when it comes to a house. I recommend go on Zillow and look for houses that you actually want to buy, and then put that in a mortgage estimator on Google to find out exactly what your numbers are actually going to be. Also, I want to have kids, right? Around 3 of them. So in reality, I'm looking at around $200 for savings for college every single month in actual investments in a 529. But on top of that, I'm looking at around an extra $1,000 every single month just for those kids, the food, and also the bills. And that's where everything actually fits in. And by the way, someone's gonna say, Tommy, no, it's gonna be a lot more expensive, or no, it's gonna be a lot more cheaper. But in reality, the way you raise kids is also subjective, and the money you spend is also subjective, okay? All you need to do is make sure they're healthy. But if you want to make them healthy with a Gucci shirt, the answer is that's up to you. But in reality, $1,000 is more than enough for 3 kids. Now, on top of that, for travel, I'm looking at around $4,000 every single year, because again, I'm going to save money because basically I'm going to have a house also in DR. Now, for my wants, I'm looking at a Tesla that I'm going to buy, for example, in cash most likely, and it's going to cost me around $200 every single month, probably for insurance, and also an extra $1,000 for maintenance just in case in the car every single year. And also my hobbies might cost me around $1,000. Now overall, adding up my needs and also my wants, overall is going to cost me around $42,216. If you want to, comment down below and let me know exactly how much your lifestyle is actually going to cost you every single year. Be honest with yourself, and also in the comments below, that will tell you, hey, that's a lot of money, or hey, that's very conservative, maybe you can do it just a little bit more. So for me, $42,216 to have a house, to have kids, go on vacation, have my hobbies, and also have a pretty nice car, if you ask me. Now, Tommy, how long is it going to take me, step 3 here, to actually get to this goal? And how exactly do I find out? Well, the answer is very simple. We have to use something called a goal calculator. And again, I'm not a genius, not a formula here. Just go on Google and it'll show you exactly how to do it, which I will also in this video. Don't worry, I'll tell you everything you need to know. But before I tell you, here is the one thing you have to do personally with your own calculator, okay? All you have to do is multiply your lifestyle annual expense by 25. So in this case, my expense is going to be around $42,216 multiplied by 25, which means I'm going to need around $1,055,400 in a portfolio to pay me 4% every year. That way I can live off of $42,000 every single year, which means, okay, if my portfolio, my investments is worth around $1 million, if I take out 4% every single year, multiply by 0.04, I basically get 42K, be able to actually live off of that portfolio just like that. Now tell me, Won't I run out of money? The answer is no, because basically your portfolio grows at around 8%, you take out 4%, which means you still have a profit and your portfolio still grows every single year. And only if we go through the worst market crash in history over 25 years, well then your money's going to last you around 33 years, okay, which is still going to be a very long time. But most likely you're not ever going to run out of money whatsoever. Now, how long exactly is it going to take me to get to this goal right here of $1.05 million? Here's where you actually go on Google to actually find out, okay? Is search up on Google savings goal calculator and click the investment.gov option that it actually gives you. In this case, okay, my goal is going to be $1.05 million, and here it is already because I already have it here. And on top of that, I'm going to start investing with maybe, for example, $1,000, okay, just to get started. Now, how long do I want to take to actually get to this goal? In my case, let's say, for example, I want to do this in 10 years, okay? So 10 years, and the interest rate that's actually going to make me every single year is going to be around 10.83%, because basically my portfolio grows and also I get dividends, and that's why it's around 10.83%. Don't worry, I'll give you a portfolio also by the end of this video on how I actually invest, okay? But in this case, okay, I have to invest a total of around $5,288 every single month to actually get to my goal in 10 years of having a portfolio of around $1.05 million. For you, it might be a lot more different. It might be more money or less money. But in this case, let's say, for example, I want to do it in 20 years. Well, in 20 years, I only need to invest around $1,386 every single month to get to my goal. A lot more conservative, a lot more easy to actually achieve. It takes more time, yes, but if I'm 23 now, by 43, I can basically retire, and that is still going to be a massive upside right there. But in my case, my real case here, okay, I already invested around $130,000, okay, just being honest here. And I want to get to my goal not in 10 or 20 years, but in reality, in around 7 years. So I only have to invest around $6,750, and that's only because, again, I have a very high income. But in your case, okay, if you have a low income, that's also fine. So what you're going to need to do to actually get to your goal, if you actually want to get there, and here's where the aggressive part actually comes in, you have to basically live on 50% and basically invest the other 50%. And if you have a high income, invest 75% and live on 25%. And this is where things get very complicated, because basically you either want to and will do, or for example, you want to do it but you won't do it because, again, it is going to be hard to actually achieve, and it is going to be a massive sacrifice to basically only live on 50% of your income. And basically, staying out of debt is going to be one of the most important factors when it comes to you actually achieving this goal very quickly and very fast. Now, comment down below, guys, and also let me know, what is your goal? Is it 10 years, 7 years, or for example, 15 years or 25 years, okay? So remember, okay, whether it's 10 or 25, you're still going to retire basically in half the time of the average person. And to me, that is still a massive W. And overall, guys, in the end, obviously, I think this plan is basically 100% worth it. But for most people out there, it's not going to be basically something that they actually want to do, because basically they prefer to live paycheck to paycheck, and that's also fine. But if you basically want to retire 30 years earlier and enjoy your life a lot more by just working, for example, 15 years of very hard work and investing, the answer is, well, I think this plan is basically worth it for you. And on top of that, guys, if you want to know how to do this, the answer is just max out your Roth IRA, max out the match in your company 401k, and then basically whatever money is left over, invest it into a taxable account, for example, with M1 Finance. And here is right here my portfolio and exactly what I actually invest into, okay, is 7 ETFs. If you want to see exactly how I invest and how everything works, the answer is I'll put a link down below to this portfolio. That way you can see it and invest into it. Or for example, also a video on different portfolios that I also recommend depending on what your risk tolerance actually is. But overall, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped you in some way. And hopefully you weren't just watching, but also writing down things to find out exactly how long it's going to take you to actually get to your goal of financial freedom, or what I call it, being rich or being wealthy, okay? Because basically, you don't need anybody's money or work to basically keep living the lifestyle you actually want to live. Now, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video right here, well, like this video on top of also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. And before I go, if you want to text me or talk to me one-on-one, subscribe to my Patreon, link down below, or send me a DM on Instagram at TommyBryson. And if you want to watch a video on different portfolios and how to invest, here's a video right here. So see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.